Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this incredible special event. I am really excited to welcome, especially all of our CNAs and Shahbazim. This is your week. This is the week that we really honor the true healthcare heroes of long-term care. I want to also thank our sponsor, IN2L, and we'll hear more from them in just a moment. But I want to invite you all to use the chat feature in Zoom to introduce yourself to everybody. We love building that virtual community, and we want to make sure that we get to know each other through the chat feature there. The other thing that I think would be really important, if you've got comments or tributes to make to your CNAs or Shahbazim, we would love for you to be able to do that. I hope you were able to catch that PowerPoint loop that was going. This was kind of a really special project for us. And the first thing I want to do is thank the greenhouse communities that sent in their photos. I thought the photos were beautiful and really helped to portray what it is a Shahbaz, that versatile, empowered worker in a greenhouse community. Those are empowered CNAs that are there to do a versatile role. And I think you could see a lot of that versatility in some of those pictures. But thank you to Ave Maria, thank you to Brooks Rehab, thank you to Londonderry Village, Mississippi Methodist Senior Services, Wyoming Life Resource Center, Sun Porch of Smith County, Wentworth Place, Westview, and Willow Ridge. Thank you for sending your pictures, and thank you to the CNAs that we saw there. And if you took a look, we asked them in one word, what is it that a Shahbaz does? And I loved some of the words that they did. And I think the one that resonated with me is compassionate. And I think in all my travels around greenhouse communities, that's what I see being lived out day in and day out. I saw 24/7 kind of there. And it's where love matters. And it's really conveying that kind of love and that connection with the elders that live in the home. You make the world go round. And to CNAs and Shahbazim everywhere, this is your moment, this is your hour for us to really do a special shout out to you. So a few days ago, the greenhouse team got together and we decided that we'd love to put together a video of our tribute to the Shahbazim and to CNAs everywhere. And so with that, I'm going to ask Janet if she would pull up our greenhouse video.
CNA Week 2020 couldn't be more important or momentous than it is this year. What a year of tremendous turmoil and upheaval in elder care. But you, Shahbazim, you endured and you delivered like the heroes you really are.
Amid the pandemic and despite incredibly difficult circumstances, you took the time to comfort elders and keep them connected and safe. Thank you for your dedication.
You made sure that family members and friends were updated, informed, and able to communicate with the elders. Thank you for your commitments.
You put others before yourself and lifted the spirits of elders and families when they needed you most. Thank you for your kind heart.
You covered work shifts for your colleagues who were sick and couldn't make it in. Thank you for your hard work.
You utilized all of your resources to keep elders connected to their loved ones. Thank you for your ingenuity.
You worked long shifts away from families and loved ones. Thank you for your heroism.
And thank you to the heroes of 2020, Shahbazim and CNAs everywhere. Cheers.
Cheers.
So let me just put a punctuation mark on that. We are so indebted with such gratitude for the work that you do. And CNA Shahbazim everywhere, thank you once again. So at this point, I'm going to introduce the panel. I'm excited to actually get out of the way and really let our panel speak. And I'm going to start with our sponsor for today, and that is It's Never Too Late. And Jack York is somebody that I met very early in my tenure with Greenhouse. And I knew then that not only was he a pretty interesting person, kind of funny, just, it's like, he's unique. I think I want to get to know him better. But I think what really struck me was the product and his passion for the product. He is the co-founder for It's Never Too Late. And he literally travels pretty much the globe to really enable elders to be able to engage with life through technology. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that later. But I want to as well bring up our panel. And we'll start with Jody Kelly. Jody Kelly is a Shahbaz, and Jody works in the Greenhouse Homes in Porter Hills. That's in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I've been to that community, and I love the beautiful Greenhouse Homes in Porter Hills, and have gotten to know Jody through education programs. Next, we'll bring up Sasha Smith. And I'm just getting to know Sasha, but I will tell you that I have been to the Hover community greenhouse homes, and those homes are beautiful. They just opened very recently, and they're beautiful homes, and they've got an incredible culture there as well. And last but not least, I'm going to introduce Olivia Henson and Samantha Calloway. And they are from the great state of Arkansas. The Cottages of Belle Meade, they have 11 greenhouse homes in Paragould, Arkansas. I have been to their community as well, and I can tell you, life happens in each of those homes. But I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to turn it over to our sponsor, Jack York, and It's Never Too Late, to really tap into kind of what makes the world go round for the Shahbazim in greenhouse homes. Jack?
And Susan, before you cut yourself off, I got to say, I think this is like the third greenhouse event I've done through the pandemic. And what is the one thing they all have in common?
One thing they all have in common, it's all, well, they're all Zoom.
You're always drinking. You're always boosting and drinking.
We invite you to happy hour. We know you'll show up if we do a happy hour.
That may say more about me than about anything else. So
yeah,
I am
exactly.
I'm so happy to be a part of this. I'm going to talk a little bit about IN2L at the very end, but this is really not about IN2L. And to be honest, it's not even about the greenhouse. It's about these people that are so happily and joyfully and dramatically and devoutly doing their jobs. And I'm just going to throw a few questions out there. I haven't had the good fortune to meet any of them yet personally, but hopefully I will. But I'm just going to ask a few questions, a little bit about tying in the greenhouse world, the CNA world, the Shahbazim, and all of that. So Sasha, I'm going to start with you. You're muted, so make sure you unmute yourself before you answer. But that sometimes is, I think the audience has a mix of folks that are familiar with the greenhouse world and some that aren't. So that's such an elegant title of Shahbazim. So what is that from a practical standpoint for someone who might not be familiar? What does that term mean?
It kind of covers everything that goes on in the home. So not only are we caring for the elders and taking care of their needs one-on-one, but we're taking care of all the background stuff as well. So we're doing the laundry, we're sweeping the floors, we're doing their activities and trying to think of ways that we can connect them with their family. We do the cooking, try and help, water the garden, basically anything. We do have backup if we need it. We have our clinical support team and our maintenance man, but we try and learn to do as much of it as we can on our own. But we do have that support. But yeah, we kind of wear all the hats.
Yeah. So how do you, how do you, like when you've got 4 things coming at you at once, how do you figure out how to prioritize?
I just, if somebody's calling for help, that's going to be the most important. You don't want those call lights going off for a long time. So I try and make sure that that's my first priority. A lot of times if I'm in the kitchen cooking, I'll maybe put it to the back burner or something, or turn it off, or ask one of the nurses to cover it for me. And then, yeah, it's just kind of making sure the elders are taken care of, making sure that they've got their food at a regular time, and then making sure all the other needs are met, their emotional needs, their, laundry needs, whatever it might be.
Yeah, that is awesome. I mean, that's a great, I mean, obviously you guys have to know how to juggle all kinds of things and keep people smiling at the same time. So, all right, so let's zip over. It's like we'll make this like Google Earth. We're zipping from Colorado to Michigan. So Jody, what is it? Just in the whole, just the whole horrible reality of COVID. How have you been able to cope? How has your job changed? How have you made things happen through all that?
It's been a challenge. We've used a lot of technology with our iPads and tablets to help the elders stay in touch with their families using FaceTime, window visits through closed windows. The families can come up to our porch window and just do a little visit, and we help them hold up the phone so they can hear each other. It's been a challenge because all of our elders have to stay in their rooms to eat, and so we're going room to room. We do have some extra help. We have a cook for right at the moment to help us with lunch and dinner, so we can spend more time with the elders and less time in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, can you think of something that through all the horrible realities of the pandemic, some things that have actually been a surprise, something positive that's come out of it that you weren't doing before?
I think it's surprising, but not really, to see how much closer of a team we are now, and how much we can depend on each other. I mean, we've always been able to, but through the COVID and isolation that we're all in right now, we've just come to rely on each other even more, and we've all just stepped right in and stepped right up.
All right, you make that step right in and step right up. That's a good tagline for your profession, I think. So, all right, let's shoot down to Arkansas. Hello, Samantha and Olivia. How you two doing?
We're good.
So do you work in the same greenhouse community? Or are you from different parts, or what's we got a tag team here. So what's your stories?
We're both from the cottages of Belmead. She is the lead Shahbaz in Hyde House, and I'm the activity director.
So what is the activity world? It seems to be so robust in the greenhouse world. How is it different than kind of maybe a traditional skilled community?
In a traditional home, you kind of have like a schedule going of what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. And in the greenhouses, it's kind of like what the elders want to do, when they want to do it, as many times as they want to do it. It's more about what they want instead of what's easiest to get on the schedule.
What are what examples of things have you seen that you do? And the second question of, has that changed? Has your activity programming changed at all because of the pandemic?
I feel like I'm busier, a lot busier. But as far as our activities, we still do bingo all the time. Hyde House constantly has activities that are different every day. We do a lot of outside time. I'm in the process right now of trying to get us to go to a secluded farm so we can go to a pond, just a couple of us, to fish, and we just do whatever they want to do. And I think that's what's better about the cottages.
Yeah, well, that seems like the whole greenhouse model is built on that. So Samantha, what's kind of your day-to-day role in the greenhouse world?
Well, I take care of them. I pretty much multitask. I do a lot, but we do a lot of activities there too. We mainly do our activities like day to day. Like one day we had a luau. One day we put music inside of our activities as well, because they love music and it's more soothing to them. So we do that. I brought my cornhole game up there one day, and we played cornhole, bowling, Family Feud. I mean,
How do you do a luau? To describe a greenhouse luau in Arkansas. That's got all kinds of stories written all over it.
oh yeah, we went and got filled with sand, a pool up with sand, and we let them stick their feet in there. We had mocktails. We put the decoration up on the wall, and we took pictures. We pretty much did a lot. I mean, it was nice, really nice.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I know you guys have utilized, I think, our technology and other technologies. What are some technology things that you utilize, again, just all the time and also through the pandemic?
We well, we on our technology, we use this Never Too Late system. We play Family Feud on there. They love the Name That Sound. They love that game. We do a whole lot of music there. We get up and we actually dance. Believe it or not, we actually get up and dance together. And we karaoke up off this Never Too Late. That system it plays a big role in our house, and it stays specifically in our cottage.
You know, if you're pulling off a luau in Arkansas, I'm not surprised you're dancing. I think nothing would surprise you. So that's great. So Sasha, go back to Colorado for a second. So what's the favorite part of your job? You know, it's 7 a.m. and you got to get up and the alarm goes off. What wakes you up with a smile on your face?
I don't know. It's a hard one. I kind of enjoy all the different things we get to do, and just the different ways we get to interact with our elders. There's always something. I don't ever get stuck in a rut. There's always something different going on, and there's always, I don't know. I just love it. The multitasking, like she said, like Samantha said, that makes me real happy. I like being able to do multiple things, and it just makes me real happy that when our elders ask me for something, normally I can actually take care of it. I don't have to go ask somebody else for help for the most part. I can take care of it for them right away, and I like that. It's real fulfilling.
And you get to hang out with Holly Raymer. So, you know,
yes, I do.
that wins. That's a good one. So, all right, well, we're getting down to a last couple questions. So, Jody, I'm going to put the weight of the world on your shoulders. That this is CNA week, Shahbazim style, greenhouse style. So, on behalf of the entire world's professions of CNA, how would you just describe the kind of taking a step out of the greenhouse for a second, just the whole profession of being a CNA? What would you like to say to your peers and to the world at large that may not know everything that they do?
Being a CNA and a Shahbaz is probably one of the most fulfilling things you can do. Taking care of our elders, giving them the love and the protection that they deserve and have lived long lives to be able to deserve to have all that love and protection. It's rewarding. It is very fulfilling, to be able to take care of someone in the final years of their life, to be able to know that that they love you and love the care that you've given them. And even if they can't express it, it's just the most fulfilling job you can do, career you can do, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so if there was somebody watching who's, a millennial, or I get my eras mixed up what to call them, but somebody that is contemplating a career in this whole world of senior living, how would you entice them? You just did a pretty good job, but just if you were talking to someone who was thinking about it as a career, what would you say?
I would tell them that, caring for our elders it's an honor. It's an honor to be able to care for our elders, those who have cared for us our whole lives. And it's a way that we can give just a small thanks to them for all they've given to us growing up and becoming adults ourselves. It's an honor to care for the elders.
Yeah, you know, that's a great, we're kind of wrapping up the question, and we're going to flip over to a couple slides about IN2L. And I would so echo that, because obviously we're well, first of all, just thanks to everybody. Those are great, you know, kind of just having to answer on the fly when you're trying to make sure your technology is working and all that. You guys were great. We'll get some kind of, beware of your mailbox. Look out for strange things from IN2L coming in your mailbox over the next couple of weeks. But thanks for all that you do every day, and thanks for being willing to share it. It's not easy to do that. So thanks, everybody. And I know, are you able to kick the slide over to IN2L for a second? If not, I could just keep talking. Here we are in that. Well, actually, while we're doing this transition to a slide, yeah, here we go. I'll save what I was going to say about the greenhouse world through until I go back to Susan, but I'll be really brief about this. Is that many of you who know IN2L know us as, for the last 21 years, we've been putting engagement technology for older adults living in senior living communities, primarily folks that are dealing with some kind of physical or cognitive issue, but it's primarily been in a group context. And we have gone crazy over the last 4 months or last 3 months developing this product, this tablet. And what makes it so ideal for a greenhouse model is that every elder has their own picture, and behind that picture, it opens up to their own content. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So each person, that's the joy of the greenhouse model, and I think the joy of what we try to do as a company is that we all have our own different desires, interests, whatever it may be. And every elder in the greenhouse can have their own icon, and behind that icon have their own music, their own spirituality, their own, they want to virtually travel, they want to video chat with the grandkids. We have a really easy way to do that. And I'm always, we started the company 21 years ago. The last 3 months, and through all of the, you know, just the reality of the COVID, it really honestly has been the most rewarding 3 months of our 21 years. The number of, you go ahead and go to the next slide, but just over what we've seen, this is a project in Florida with our tablets. Just the feedback we've gotten, the number of connections that we've been able to make through video chat and different ways to keep the elders engaged. It's just been phenomenal. And for many, many years, Susan and I have been talking about a stronger partnership to have our technology be a part of the greenhouse experience. And I think with these tablets, we're really close to being there. So I think there's it's other pictures. So I'll just wrap it up by saying, you know, at the risk of sounding like I'm pandering to you, Susan, I just feel this so strongly that the whole pandemic has just brought to the forefront the benefits and the reality and the need for the greenhouse model. I mean, it is such an obvious way to there's just a practical side of when you have a handful of elders, it's easier to deal with just the disease spread and things like that. But to me, it's much more, I think what the pandemic has brought to the forefront is just the pain of losing of losing touch with your friends and family and losing the connection. And as well intentioned as people are, and people are doing a hell of a good job in traditional environments, but it's still, if you're trying to deal with 40, 60, 80 people, it just becomes overwhelming. And I think that there's a lot of parallels between through the pain of the pandemic, that both of our models really resonate to a world that has always kind of said, yeah, we'll get to it later. You know what? Later is here. And so we've put together, I don't want to get into a sales spiel, but anybody who's on who wants to know more about what we're doing, we're happy to talk to you about that offline. But I just do think that it's not a novelty to keep people connected. It's a right, and that's we're proud to be a part of it. So thanks, Susan, for.
Yeah, let me just interject just a little bit, just to piggyback on what you're saying. And I do think the pandemic has certainly brought to light some real challenges in our communities. And the pandemic only made that social isolation much more acute. And the need to really have person-centered technology and tools to support communication and connection, never before has that been so important. And I think the IN2L has certainly offered us that opportunity. And I think you certainly heard Jody talked about the tablets they use. You certainly heard Samantha and Olivia talk about how they've been able to use the IN2L technology to not just prevent that social isolation, but to create some normalcy. And I can tell you, in visiting the cottages at Belmead, they do a lot of dancing. I mean, they are getting up and they are shaking it big time. And the IN2L system has really enabled to have more of that group social interaction, as well as the tablets and kind of that more personal one-on-one. So Jack, I knew years ago when we first got together that IN2L seemed to be kind of the epitome of that person-centered technology. And as I've watched IN2L kind of grow, mature, and become even more enabled to do different things, I think I've become even more fond. And IN2L and the Greenhouse Project are in the process of really determining what that next step for our two organizations will do to really make sure that we're enabling this technology to be a viable option for all of our greenhouse communities. And I guess it took a pandemic to expose how profound the need really is, but let's seize the opportunity. You know, we're getting at the really close to the end, and I did want to mention a comment that I saw in the chat that I think is really appropriate as we're getting to the end. Chris Angevine, she was formerly a guide at the Greenhouse Homes at St. John's in Penfield, New York. She says, we would be lost without the heart and brains of the people working closest to the elders. You're not only heroes, but you're warriors. Chris, that I think really sums up what we were trying to acknowledge and to say with the incredible group that we had. I want to thank Samantha, Sasha, Olivia, and Jody. Your insights, you're living the dream. You are doing every day the work that matters, and you are connected to something far bigger than you alone could do. So thank you for being connected to the greenhouse communities, but thank you for the work you do every day to ensure the elders living in your cottages or your greenhouse home are living their best life. Jack York, once again, I am grateful for our friendship. I'm grateful for the partnership. I'm grateful for the sponsorship that you brought to this webinar today. And to all CNAs and Shahbazim out there, this is your week. And if I had another glass of wine, I would raise it to toast all of you and to thank you for your dedication, for your tireless efforts. And cheers to you, and keep living the dream. Thanks everyone for your time.